Good afternoon. Welcome to Able United's monthly webinar for August, the basics of Able accounts. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Emily Reed, and I have the pleasure of working with the Able United team. I primarily work with our program's advocates, including advocacy groups, service providers, and professionals that work with the special needs community. In fact, there's a pretty good chance that I've probably worked with some of you on this call today. In today's webinar, we will cover what Able United is, who is eligible, the benefits of an Able United account, and how to sign up. First, Able United is administratively housed under the Florida Prepaid College Board. The Florida Prepaid College Board oversees more than $10 billion in investments for the Stanley G. Tate Florida Prepaid College Program, the Florida 529 Savings Program, and the Florida Prepaid College Foundation. A quick housekeeping slide. Please note that you've joined this webinar in listen-only mode, which means you will be muted for the duration. In order to ask questions, please use the Questions Ask box found on the GoToWebinar panel. There will be some designated time at the end to answer your questions. If we don't have enough time to answer everyone's questions, we will follow up with each of you individually to answer any of the questions we did not respond to during the webinar. Also, you'll notice that above the question panel, there is a list of handouts you can download, which includes the Able United Program Description and Participation Agreement in this presentation. These are also will be made available on the Able United website, ableunited.com. During this presentation, there will be a couple of polls that will be taken and a one-question survey at the very end. Your participation is very much appreciated. Before we move forward, I'd like to get a sense of how familiar you are with Able United. So the first is going to be a quick poll to gauge your familiarity with Able United. Everything from I'm a current account holder to I am not at all familiar. We'll give everyone just a moment to respond. Okay, we'll give it just one more moment. Thanks so much for replying and giving us an idea of how familiar you are with Able United. And it looks like we have a pretty good mix. It looks like most of you are somewhat familiar. A good portion of you are not familiar at all, so you are in the right place. We're going to go ahead and close that poll. So since we know that there are a good number of you, about a third of you, that are not at all familiar with ABLE, let's start with the basics of ABLE. What is ABLE? So ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. The Stephen Beck Jr. ABLE Act was enacted federally in December 2014 and encourages individuals with disabilities to save money to support health, independence, and quality of life. It added a new section to the Internal Revenue Code, Section 529A, and enjoys the same tax benefits 529 college savings plans offer, with some additional unique benefits specifically for individuals with disabilities. In July 2015, Florida created Florida ABLE, Inc., a not-for-profit and direct support organization board of the Florida Prepaid College Board, and charged them to create and administer Florida's ABLE program, which is called Able United. Able United launched July 1st, 2016, and now has more than 1,200 account holders. It was championed on a federal level by our own Congressman Andrew Crenshaw, who has since retired and joined the Able United Board of Directors. ABLE accounts are tax-free savings and investment accounts established to support disability expenses and to do so while maintaining government benefits. It allows individuals with disabilities, their family, and friends to save like never before. We're going to cover 3 areas. First, we'll talk about one of the key advantages of an Able United account, and that is the ability to save while maintaining federal benefits such as Medicaid and Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. We'll talk about saving with the help of friends and family and saving tax-free for future expenses. And 3, how easy it is to open an account online and why an Able account may be right for you or your loved one. Our mission at Able United is to help individuals with disabilities save for a better life experience by saving for future qualified disability expenses. Able United accounts are to be used to help pay for future expenses that relate to the person's disability and support the individual's health, independence, or quality of life. These expenses include basic living expenses, do not have to be medically necessary, nor do they have to be for the sole benefit of the individual with the disability. As you can see, these categories are very broad and meant to cover a wide variety of expenses, everything from housing and education to transportation and health, even oversight and monitoring and funeral and burial. When explaining what qualified disability expenses are, the Treasury offered this example. If an individual with autism uses a cell phone to help communicate and navigate, the associated expenses, including the cell phone plan, may qualify. They even stated that these expenses are meant to be constituted broadly. And as you can see, Able United accounts can be used for just about anything that could be justified. Some things that likely aren't considered qualified disability expenses would be gambling, alcohol, some forms of entertainment, and giving funds away. So now that we've discussed how you can use an Able United account, let's talk about who qualifies for Able United. To be eligible for an Able United account, there are 3 eligibility requirements. First, the individual with a disability must be a Florida resident. Florida has decided to only allow Florida residents at the time of application to enroll in Able United. The next 2 requirements are true for all ABLE programs as prescribed in the Internal Revenue Code. So the second requirement is the onset of the individual's disability had to be prior to age 26. And finally, the disability has to be severe. So let's pause there for a moment. What does it mean that the disability has to be severe? An individual with a qualifying disability is one who's entitled to benefits based on blindness or disability under Title II, Social Security Disability Insurance, which is an earned program based on work history, or Title 16 of the Social Security Act, Supplemental Security Income. If an individual with a disability is not currently receiving one of these benefits, the Treasury Department and the IRS have concluded that a certification under penalties of perjury is permissible. The individual or power of attorney, parent, or legal guardian must have a signed physician's diagnosis of a physical or mental impairment that occurred prior to age 26, resulted in marked and severe functional limitations, meets the severity requirements for the Child Standard of Social Security, and is expected to last at least 6 months. Also unique to ABLE accounts compared to other financial products such as special needs trusts is that the individual with the disability is the owner of the ABLE account. This individual, the beneficiary, may maintain their own account. However, a parent, legal guardian, or power of attorney may assist in the opening of the account and may also help to administer the account. Regardless of who the account administrator is, the individual with the disability ultimately owns the account. Something else to note, you can only have one ABLE account nationwide, which is different than some other financial products. Also, ABLE United accounts are accessed completely online, so you can't go to your local bank and open an account or manage an account there. As you'll recall, Able United is managed by the Florida Prepaid College Board, and if you had a prepaid plan, you know the management of that account is also handled exclusively online. A question we often hear is, what if I move out of state, since an Able United account is specifically for Florida residents? If you move, you can take the account with you. Residency is only a requirement at the time of the establishment of the account. And finally, remember, Able accounts are for the benefit of the individual with a disability. Our Able United account holders range from infants to people in their 80s. So what happens if the account holder passes away? Funds remaining in the Able account are included in the individual's gross estate. If the owner receives Medicaid, Medicaid may make a claim on the account, but with exceptions. First, only Medicaid services paid for after the Able account was opened. Additionally, outstanding qualified disability expenses are paid first, such as legal fees or a mortgage, and funeral and burial can be paid out of the account as well. Remember, one of the key benefits of this account is to be able to save more than $2,000 without losing Medicaid. So what if an individual is receiving SSI, Supplemental Security Income? Like Medicaid, SSI has a resource limit of $2,000. Generally, funds in or withdrawn from an Able account are disregarded when determining eligibility for SSI. The Social Security Administration has a Program Operations Manual, also known as POMS, that they use to describe how Social Security should be able to handle Able accounts when it comes to those individuals receiving SSI. This POM is SI 01130.740 and outlines some exceptions. One of those exceptions is that the first $100,000 in an Able account does not count as a resource. If you recall, the current resource limit for SSI is $2,000, but with an Able United account, the individual can save up to $102,000. Funds above $100,000 in an Able account will count toward that $2,000 resource limit. Next, housing and non-qualified disability expenses withdrawn but not spent in the same month count as a resource. For example, let's say that Amy takes a distribution of $500 from her Able account in May to pay her rent for June. She deposits the $500 into her checking account in May and withdraws the $500 in cash on June 3rd to pay her landlord. This distribution is a housing-related qualified disability expense and part of her checking account balance as of June 1st, which makes it a countable resource for the month of June. So one option is to have the Able account pay your housing expenses directly so that you don't have to worry about it impacting your SSI benefits. So now that we've learned a little bit more about who Able United is for and how it works with Medicaid and SSI, let's do another quick poll to see who has joined us this afternoon. So take a moment to share with us which of these best describes you. Excellent. Thank you all for your participation here. It looks like the vast majority of individuals that have joined us today are either a parent or a caregiver or a service provider, but it looks like some of those advocacy groups and legal and financial professionals that I hopefully have had the great fortune to work with us have joined us as well. So thanks so much for taking the time to participate in that poll and tell us a little bit more about who's with us today. So let's take a closer look at how to open an Able United account. Enrollment can be done online on our website and takes on average about 15 minutes to set up. It's an extremely easy process, and there are no documents to upload. First, you would enter identifying information, categorize and self-certify the basis of eligibility, and select investment options. If another individual is authorized to open an account on behalf of the person with the disability, they'll need to identify who they are. Individuals self-certifying under penalties of perjury stating that they meet the disability eligibility requirements will need to provide the date of diagnosis and physician contact information. So one question we often receive is, what do I need from my doctor if I'm self-certifying? What you'll need is the diagnosis from your doctor that meets the severity requirements for the child's standard of Social Security. During enrollment, you'll be asked how you're eligible for the Able United account. And you'll either select that you receive SSDI or SSI, that you are on the list of compassionate allowances, or that you're self-certifying. If you self-certify, you'll be asked to provide a date of diagnosis along with the physician information of the person with the disability. So after an account is opened, the individual, their friends and family, even an organization can contribute to their Able account electronically through ACH or by check. The great thing is anyone can contribute. Contributions are considered completed gifts and not income to the individual. Up to $14,000 per year can be contributed from all sources for the calendar year. So if your special needs trust contributed $5,000 to your Able account and a family member contributed $4,000, the most that can be contributed to the Able United account for the rest of the calendar year is $5,000 for a total of $14,000. There is no federal income tax deduction for contributing to an Able account. So the $4,000 that I contributed to your Able account, I can't write off as a donation. At this time, rollovers can only be done between Able accounts, so you can't do a direct rollover from a college savings plan or other tax-advantaged savings plan. Now, this picture that you see here is our Able United Director, John Finch, on the left, with Sean, who is a friend of our team here at Able United. Sean is a unified partner with Special Olympics who also happens to have cerebral palsy. He's currently a student at the University of North Florida and is using his Able account so that he can remain eligible for supplemental security income and save up for a car as well as educational expenses. Now, when enrolling, you will need to know how you want to set up the account to help grow your funds. So Able United provides 3 pre-designed portfolios to meet the needs of most investors, or for individual funds to build a custom portfolio for those with more investment experience. The individual funds consist of a money market account, and that's Florida Prime, which is the local government surplus funds trust fund for Florida, a U.S. stock option and a U.S. bond option, both managed by Vanguard, and an international stock option managed by BlackRock. You can change how incoming contributions are invested at any time and as frequently as you want. For funds already invested in the program, you can rebalance or reinvest twice every year. For more information on the various options, as well as to see the current performance, you can visit us online, ableunited.com/save. We'll take you right to that page. When setting up your investment options, it's important to determine your financial goals and how you plan to use the account. So are you saving for a larger expense like Sean, or are you going to use the account to pay monthly housing bills? The account really can be customized based on your needs. What we do know from current account holders is that we're seeing a tendency for younger beneficiaries investing in more aggressive options, and the selections get more conservative as the individual gets older. If you have individual questions about how to invest, we do recommend that you seek out a financial professional and get their opinions for your specific experience and goals. So after you've put money into the account, how do you go about accessing it? Able United is really incredibly flexible in this respect. Money can be withdrawn at any time and for any reason. There's no pre-authorization required for you to withdraw your funds. You don't have to get permission from Social Security. You don't have to ask Able United for permission. You don't have to speak with anyone. You are responsible for when and how the funds are used, just like you would be with a checking or a savings account. Withdrawals can be made by electronic transfer to a checking or a savings account, or you can have Able United cut a check to the account owner, the administrator, or a third party. Earnings on the account are tax-free as long as you use the funds for the qualified disability expenses that we discussed at the top of our webinar today. Able United is not tracking how you use your funds, but it is possible that the IRS might ask. Social Security will also be looking at these accounts for individuals who are receiving supplemental security income. We recommend keeping documentation on the expenses from your ABLE account to include justification of why something is a qualified disability expense, just in case they ask. So what happens if you use the funds in your ABLE United account for non-qualified disability expenses? For example, gambling. The earnings portion of the withdrawal would be subject to the individual's income tax rate, including a 10% penalty. Also, if you are receiving SSI, a non-qualified disability expense would count toward your resource limit. So now that we've covered the basics of an ABLE account, you may be asking yourself if an ABLE United account is right for you. So here are a couple of ways that you might be able to tell if this is a good option. Are you looking for a way to save money without losing government benefits? Do you need a way to save for basic living expenses like housing, transportation, and education? Do you want to have family and friends, or do you have family and friends that would like to assist you financially, but don't want to compromise the benefits you currently receive or may receive in the future? Are you a parent of a child who wants to save for transitional expenses when your child turns 18? Do you find yourself spending down money each month in order to get below $2,000 in assets? And are you looking for a way for your money to potentially grow tax-free or earn interest tax-free? If you answered yes to any of these questions, an ABLE account might be beneficial for you. Remember, it's free to open an account at ableunited.com. For this particular webinar, we are offering a free gift for individuals who sign up for an ABLE United account. As a reminder, there is no application fee. There is no minimum contribution. You can open that account completely for free. And if you open that account by September 30th, we are offering a gift. So we definitely encourage you to very strongly consider that. During enrollment, the promotion code section can be found on the contribution portion. This is a screenshot of that page, so you'll know exactly what you're looking for. You'll see about a third of the way down, or 2/3 of the way down on the page, promo code at the bottom. That's where you would enter that promo code. Again, it's SEPTGIFT, SEPTGIFT. So let's take a moment to answer some questions from the audience. Okay, so we just have a great question that we've received. Can the money in an ABLE United account be used for vacation? Very timely question, given that I think most folks are wrapping up their final vacations this weekend for Labor Day. And the answer to that is it depends, and ultimately comes back to your ability to justify that expense. So one of the things that I have heard is if you include in that vacation something that is educational for the individual with a disability, that could be certainly more easily justified as a qualified disability expense. Some of the other types of questions that we will typically hear from people are, do I have to file taxes? So when it comes to tax reporting, the IRS states that ABLE contributions, rollover contributions, cumulative contributions, if the ABLE account was opened this year, that the and then I'll apologies, having some technical difficulties with our system there. You would only you would submit a 1099, and that would only be if you have a non-qualified disability expense. We'll give it one more moment for any final questions, but while we're doing so, I do want to share that a copy of this presentation, meaning the PowerPoint and the audio portion as well, will be available at ableunited.com. You can actually also access other past presentations on our website. We have a wealth of those to choose from. I do also want to share that our September webinar is going to be a co-presented webinar along with the Social Security Administration, and that is scheduled for September 21st, so mark your calendars for that. If you are not currently directly receiving our information about Able United and our regular updates, please do not hesitate to email our customer service or go online to our website to request that we add you to our database. We'd love to keep you updated. And it looks like we don't have any other questions today. There is one more question that we want to be certain that we answer today. If you pay housing bills out of your ABLE account, will you have to pay charges for that service? And the answer to that is no, in that you can set up your ABLE account to transfer directly to a checking or savings account. So you can transfer your money that way and then pay your housing expenses from your checking or savings account directly. Able United will also allow you to cut 2 checks for free each month, every month for free, and any more than 2 checks is a $5 charge. But if you have a recurring expense that you know that you will need that check for, you can make that request and we'll be happy to cut that check for you. Excellent. So thank you so much. Appreciate all of your time today. Do want to make sure that we keep it on this slide right here, and this gives you all of the information that you need to know about how to open that account, including going to ableunited.com. It does not matter the age of the beneficiary. You can go ahead and open your account today. So received a question from one mother of a 2-year-old, what you need to open that account. Everything that we discussed today would apply to you. Would definitely encourage you to go to ableunited.com. Open that account will take you no more than 15 minutes. If you have additional questions, or if you had a specific question that we did not get to today, please feel free to get in touch with us. Or if, as you're opening your account, if you have questions, you'll see the contact information here. Our email is customerservice@ableunited.com, and our toll-free number is 1-888-524-ABLE. Thanks so much for your time this afternoon. We appreciate your attendance and look forward to everyone opening Able United accounts. Thanks so much. Have a great day.